Hello and welcome to another warm edition, of the Roots and Wings Iwachu. We do dive into lives of young people, of people living in other countries all the way from Rwanda, but also this is a new edition, diving into a life of people from other countries but currently living in Rwanda. That is why today I'm really honored to be hosting Elizabeth Babalola. Welcome very much.
Thank you very much, darling.
We are very happy to be hosting you here.
Happy to be here as well.
Yes. For your information, Elizabeth Babalola is all the way from Nigeria, but also at her young age, she's a dean in a university here in Rwanda, which is ALU. We are really happy to be having you here.
Thank you very much. It's interesting you say my young age.
It is very young because we are truly delighted to be having a young dean for an international university such as ALU. We do know ALU for its remarkable, achievements in Rwanda and also in Africa, the whole of Africa, shaping lives and, giving a unique learning model to the people into the university. So having the dean here, it's very useful and very thoughtful for us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here as well. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yes. So to start with, I would like to know, how has your experience been here in Rwanda, both personally and also professionally?
It's been interesting living here in Rwanda. So I started visiting Rwanda in 2018. And I've come to Rwanda almost every year since then.
Exactly.
But living in a country is very different from visiting. However, there are a couple of things that have remained the same. I always used to think about coming to Rwanda as living in Wakanda. It's a system that works, right? Things work reliably. You can bank on the information that you find online. And people are, for the most part, really helpful and willing to lend a hand and help you figure out how things work. And then on a professional note, you can rely on the way that a process is set up, right? You're going to do A, B, C, D, and you're going to do A through D, and when you're done, you have a response on whether it's a go or it's a no-go. So it's been a good experience, really, living here. And it's coming up to 2 years in a few months.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Do you already have something around the words that you already know?
So I can say Murakoze Chane.
Yes.
I know I can say good morning, but I am forgetting it now. I can ask how much in the market. I'm still figuring out the money, though. I haven't quite locked that down. So maybe you'll give me a couple lessons as well.
Count on me. I'll do that for you.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, moving on with the ALU being here in Rwanda, what initially drew the Africa Leadership University to establish a campus in Rwanda?
I was thinking back on Rwanda in 2017 when we moved here.
Yes.
And it made all the sense in the world, right? So this was 2017. The news everywhere was Rwanda on the rise, right? And then this was right after the National Transformation Strategy 1 was launched, right, in that same 2017. Rwanda had also been ranked as the second easiest country to do business in Africa, and we were already in the easiest country to do business in Africa, Mauritius.
Yes.
So it made a lot of sense to come here at that time. On top of that is the ease of entry, right? So it was already at that time very easy. Like I said, I came to Rwanda 1, 2, 3 times every single year, and it was easy to get a visa on arrival and come in. And that was and remains important for us as a Pan-African institution, because we want to make sure that our students can easily get into the country. So that was that as well. Then there was the launch of the Kigali Innovation City, right? And the plans for that were coming more and more to the fore. And we were privileged to be located, in there eventually. But at the time, the concept of the KIC pointed even more at the fact that the Rwandan government is very, very future forward thinking. Then you also had the Kigali Convention Center, right? That had been running and it was taking on conferences and businesses from everywhere at the time. So there were a lot of many reasons. And then when we did arrive, when the founding team arrived, we found a lot of support, right? The requirements were not as manic as they are in some other African countries,
Sure.
but there was also a lot of support, right? Literally having people from the RDB hand-holding you through the process, the Ministry of Education being eager to have, another international university in the country. So all the stars aligned. It made the most sense, You're in the easiest country to do business, let's go to number 2. And besides, number 2 is on the rise, so yeah.
Yes. How do you see ALU aligning with Rwanda's vision to become a hub of quality education and innovation in the future and also for now?
So it makes total sense for us, right? Innovation has always been at the core of what we do, and especially innovation that spurs on Pan-African growth and strategy. So if I'll get more specific, one of the things that we found from the many, many universities that have visited our campus, because what often happens is when universities come to visit Rwanda, ALU is on the list of places that they want to visit and engage with. And what we found is many institutions are looking for a way to sort of test the waters. And there's something that we do called the Signature Immersive Experiences Program. And this year we've done a pilot with the University of Washington that brought together their students and our students over about a 2-week period, really engaging with and learning about governance in the African context, but more specifically Rwandan governance. So our Signature Immersive Experience is a program that is very well positioned to enable universities partner, right, with a local university here. But on top of that, part of what we continue to do is ensure that our students are solving for real problems that are happening in Rwanda and in the region. And that's a big part of what the national strategies are looking to do, right, is to tackle head-on the issues that need to be resolved and sorted so that Rwanda can continue to grow.
Yes, the uniqueness of the ALU model, learning model, is very well known. How is this shaping the Rwandan and also the African students that ALU is having now to be shaping it, differently from the traditional system?
So there are a couple things and a lot of things that the ALU model does for our students, right? The first one I'll mention is critical thinking, right? So our model encourages students, or more like forces our students to center their learning on a mission, on a particular challenge or an opportunity. And what that enables you to do in the safe environment of a university is you really can think critically about a problem, right? And what we know now with the rise of AI is that the world of work is not going to look anything like what it looks like right now. The world of work is going to be led by individuals who are able to adapt, right, and position themselves for the future. And that's something that the ALU model does really, really well. The other thing that our model does is that it encourages and it rewards ownership. As a professional yourself, I'm sure you know that organizations are always looking for individuals who take ownership.
Yes.
Not individuals who are looking to pass the blame or pass the buck. And that's big for us at ALU, is taking ownership of your learning journey, but also of your experience while you're on campus. And then last but not the least is cross-sectoral partnerships, right? What we've seen globally is that meeting the needs that arise now require partnerships across sectors. You cannot do it alone. And that's something that our students realize very early on. Because if you're going to tackle a health sector problem, but you don't have a health degree, you have to work with a doctor or a nurse, right? And that means you have to understand their language, understand their way of doing things right off the bat. And that's something that the ALU model really encourages with our students. I could go on, but I'll stop at that.
Oh, sure. You've interacted with many Rwandan students as the dean of the ALU. What stands out the most about them, about the Rwandan students?
There are two things that come to mind. One of them is that your average Rwandan student is very genteel.
Yes.
And that's something that cuts across all of the country, is that the pace of life here is a little slower, which is great. Because it really allows you to pause and think and be meticulous about your decision making. So that's one thing that always stands out. The other thing that really stands out is that the average Rwandan student really exemplifies and motivates a sense of Pan-African nationalism. Rwandan students and Rwandans are very passionate about their country. this is ours. There's a huge sense of ownership. And you get that with Rwandan students as well. They're very, very proud to be Rwandan, very proud to associate. And I see that it encourages other students from Africa, from other African countries, to want to take on that same level of ownership, right? Of the Pan-African agenda, but also of their own national identities.
Yes. ALU still is very known for the uniqueness. I do love the uniqueness in their learning model. How is it shaping the Rwandans, young Rwandans and also young Africans to become good leaders, good problem solvers in the future, for the Africa's future? Because we also know that in your university there is a leadership inside it, as it's like a definition for the university.
Yeah, I alluded to some of it earlier on, right, is enabling critical thinking. Another thing I'll mention at this point is work readiness.
Yes.
One of the things that really makes the ALU model unique is that our students are prepared in their very first trimester to be ready for the world of work. And that model is informed by research that explains to us what is it that people need to thrive in the world of work. And what we found is consistently, our employer partners in Rwanda and beyond are eager to have Rwandan students working with them, ALU students rather, working with them. I met with some staff from the Equity Bank and Equity Foundation early this week, and she was saying, I have a couple of your interns at the office. It's been extraordinary having them with us. I'd like us to have more, right? And we get that feedback, whether it's from the Ministry of ICT, the Ministry of Justice, different banks and institutions. Students who come to ALU are really ready for the world of work to contribute to that organization. They're not just there to serve tea, even though they're on an internship, right? They're really deliberate about how can I improve the processes that are going on here. I was hearing about one of our students who interned at a school here in Rwanda. And even though her internship was only four months long, in that time, she literally revolutionized their documentation processes because she identified a problem and applied herself immediately to try and solve that issue. And
how would you describe Rwanda's support in supporting education for higher institutions such as ALU?
Oh, it's splendid. I can't even lie. It's really, really good. Like I said at the beginning of the interview, we found that government institutions were not just willing to support, they were looking to handhold our founding team through the process. So we found that, the agencies and the institutions here are flexible, but they're also very crystal clear about what can and what cannot be done. There's no cloak and dagger about it. It's very easy off the bat to know what's working. But on top of that, the institutions here are very forward-thinking. So you don't get the sense that it's only senior leadership in the country that is thinking about the future. Everyone who works in government, right, and in parastatals is forward-thinking and is looking at how can we improve the setups and the systems that we have so that we can move not just the country, but the entire region and the continent forward. So it's a very enabling environment here.
What makes, you're speaking about the leadership and also how, how the government supports the higher learning institutions such as ALU. What do you think makes maybe Rwanda outstanding, or what makes Rwanda an enabling environment for international universities to be thriving here in Rwanda?
First thing that comes to mind on that front is security, right? When you're a higher learning institution, you are literally a 3-client organization. The student is your client, the parent is your client, and then the employer partner is your client. And the reason I mention is that parent is a very important client, and the parent wants to know that their child is going to be safe and well taken care of. And that's the reality here in Rwanda. Rwanda is the only place I know where I'm comfortable for my husband to go for a walk at 11 p.m. And I can go to sleep because I know he's fine, he's going to be safe, right? And that's true for our student experience here as well, is that the level of security is very high and very, very deliberate. again, I'll reiterate what I said in the beginning, is that the systems and the processes work, right? So you can register a business in a day or 2 days at most, right? You can get clarity on what the requirements are for setting up a new degree program, setting up a university. There are opportunities for you to test things out, test out a model. We started out in Kigali Heights before we set up our campus in the Kigali Innovation City, right? So there are opportunities for you to test things out, test out models. And the government and the agencies are very, very willing to make those connections happen with other institutions, with banks that will enable you for financing and funding, with construction companies to make sure you get the very best construction done, connecting you with high schools, right? So that you can really identify the best and the brightest students to come into your university. So the entire system, the entire ecosystem is incredibly enabling.
Yes. Are there maybe like success stories? Because you've been having some Rwandan students, like for ALU students in general, and also alumni for Rwandan students, that truly inspires you. When you look at them, you be like, these are our students. We do love where they are now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there are plenty. So first one I'm thinking about is the pair of brothers, Crepin and Kevin, who founded Keiko. Yes. So they're alum now. Have they graduated? Yes, Keiko. So Keiko is a financial services platform for businesses.
Yes.
And they start, every one of these enterprises I'm going to tell you about started on campus, right? So they started their venture on campus, and it's doing really, really well. You can look them up, Keiko. I know, businesses who are using their platforms. Then I'm also thinking about Flove. So Flove is a company that makes bags from sustainable materials. Yes. Also started now by an ALU alum, a female alum. Flove, F-L-O-V-E.
Yes. What's her name again?
No, I'm spacing on her name. I am spacing on her name.
I guess it's Gloria, if I'm not mistaken.
You know her? Okay.
Gloria Girabawe.
Okay, the last name sounds right. I can't pronounce it, but yes, the last name sounds right.
Big shout outs to Gloria Girabawe. She's a founder of Flove.
Flove,
yes. She's really doing a great job.
Really, really good work. I'm also thinking about Ali Noble. So Ali Noble was our Student Representative Council president last year. Yeah. Before Ali graduated, he had already interned with a couple of government parastatals, specifically diplomatics. And I saw him a few weeks ago. I was like, oh, Ali, what are you up to? I said, oh, he's working with another diplomatic mission. And he's literally right out of school and is already working with government, right? So that's just a few. And then there's Stretch. Stretch is another financial services institution. Suave Jean-Luc. He's a current student, actually, at ALU, but Stretch is already doing incredible things. So there are a dime a dozen of students who are doing really, really good, really, really well.
Okay. How does ALU integrate with the Rwandan culture into its philosophy?
It's hard not to want to copy from, Rwanda's values, culture, art. One of the things that comes to mind first is the prioritization of reconciliation when there is strife. And that, it's bound to happen. When you have 3,000 students on a campus, you're bound to have some students having issues with each other. And as much as possible, we strive for reconciliation in those conversations. We want them to come together to the table and try to figure out the issue, right? Rather than, oh, how are we going to go to court? Or how are we going to get the police involved? Can you both figure this out, first of all? And I've seen even our student leaders doing this, right? They themselves finding out that there's an issue going on with a student, and they're keen to step in and mediate that conversation. The other thing that is big for us is community service, right? So Umuganda is a major part of living here in Rwanda, and it's something that we strive for with our students as well. So our students who have an education mission, for example, every single year, they partner with local high schools to support them with grading examinations, supporting them with grading examinations, or even just doing community service in local schools. So we see that's something that we create an enabling environment for our students to do, and they've taken it up as well. And then, of course, beyond Umuganda, right, is being involved in solving the problem, right? And that's something that is at the very core of what we do at ALU.
Yeah, in your view, as someone who've been in Rwanda since 2017, back then where you've been establishing the campus in Rwanda, what do you think Rwanda's education, or maybe education, can contribute in driving Rwanda's national development and transformation?
It's almost impossible to think about growing an economy without paying deliberate attention to education.
Yes.
Now, I started visiting Rwanda in 2018 and I moved here last year. But if you look just at the Kigali Innovation City and the collaborations that are already happening between ALU, CMU, the University of Rwanda, AIMS, and the biomedical services companies in KIC, that alone is evidence of the incredible things that can happen when you prioritize education, right? And so ensuring that the youth of Rwanda are well educated at the very best institutions possible, with an education that is couched in the local context, is critical for national development. On top of that is the benefits that come from partnerships, right? The partnerships of higher learning institutions with government institutions, whether it's providing talent, in terms of internships, or doing research to really understand the root causes of challenges that we're facing, whether it's challenges about housing, or it's challenges about electrification, or if it's even scaling solutions, right? I'm thinking about the Society for Family Health and its partnership with the African Leadership Group and with the government of Rwanda in setting up the Blue Room. Right, and the Blue Room has hosted multiple interns from ALU and ALX. And the Blue Room is critical for serving as a point where you can really understand the data and the analytics of what's happening in the healthcare sector in Rwanda, so that you can identify what you might call red zones and apply solutions to those places first. That's what happens when you have a partnership with private education and government. And the Blue Room is just one example. Irembo is another one. I've lost track of how many of our students have interned at Irembo, participated in Irembo hackathons, and each of those hackathons is designed to solve a particular challenge. And what the government does is it pulls together all the different institutions in Rwanda and puts the students to work. Find us a solution on the spot in a hackathon competition, and then those solutions get implemented almost immediately in Irembo.
Yes. Speaking of partnerships, what role do you think the partnerships between the government, academia, and the private sector play in shaping the future of education in Rwanda?
So I said earlier on that education is a three-client sector, right? The parent, the student, and the private sector. The private sector is an important client that historically some academic institutions forget about. Because if you train all these students and they don't have a job, then you haven't done a good job. And so ensuring that education institutions partner with private sector and create programs that meet the talent gaps that the institutions have ensures that the students literally have a job waiting, even before they've graduated, because the organization has been involved in training them to meet those needs that they have in their organization. So that's one area. Another area where those partnerships are really useful is resourcing internships. I remember when I did my first undergraduate degree, we had a brief internship. It's somewhere in the middle of everything. And I knew many friends who spent that time building their businesses or trying to start a business. But you see, we graduated and found out that employers wanted us to have 1 year of work experience. And we're all thinking, where was I supposed to get the experience?
Yes.
I was facing my books the entire time. That's another place where higher learning institutions partnering with government and with private sectors can enable the sourcing of relevant internships. Right? So that every single student in universities in Rwanda can actually graduate with 6 months to 1 year of work experience. And that will only happen if you partner with private sector institutions, helping them understand the relevance and the value that these students can bring to them. And then, of course, there's research, right? Research is an age-old method that we've used to really make sure that institutions are contributing to the body of knowledge in any particular society.
Yes. We are closely coming to our end, but I would really like you to also share your experience as a dean, which you got a title on a very young age concerning what we've been talking about off camera. But I would like to know, what message would you like to give to young Rwandans pursuing their dreams, trying to get at the top of their dreams in the future in this fast changing world? Because we do have, challenges and everything. What message would you like to give them?
Well, first thing I'll say is drink lots of water and eat healthy so you can look younger than your age. Second thing I'll say is take ownership.
Yes.
Don't wait for someone to chase you to get things done. There are a lot of opportunities to add value. The question is, are you willing to step up to the plate and take ownership? Another thing I'll say is take risks. Universities are a safe space, institutions that are designed to underwrite your risk. So take risks while you're in that university environment. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Learn how to learn. The world of work is evolving so quickly. All the information that you thought you needed to get directly out of your professor's head is right in your mobile phone. One of the skills that you will need all of your life is learning how to learn, so that whether you're transitioning from the banking sector to tech or even into healthcare, you can double down, do some deep work, and really learn how to learn. And then the last thing I'll say is be ethical. Be ethical and be entrepreneurial. We know the damages that we've seen around the world with unethical leaders. What the world needs right now are leaders who will do what they say and say what they do, and who will stand for the right thing. So be ethical, even when it's difficult.
Sure, we are closely to our end, as I said, but I just have two last questions. Sure. The first one is going to be, what should we expect in the future from ALU and in new partnerships, new faculties? For people who would like to get maybe masters from there, what should we expect in the future?
Ooh. So we're conducting needs assessments right now, working with our partners in industry to, again, understand what are the needs in the future. Because keep in mind that students come to university and spend anywhere between 2 to 4 years.
Yes.
And there's a lot that can change in that time. So we're trying to figure out what is in the frontier, right? What is it that our students need to be learning to be relevant in the next 10, 20 years? And so those needs assessments are ongoing right now, and it will be not just at undergraduate level, but at master's level, as you said. So watch this space. Look out.
Sure,
You'll see them soon.
Yes. Lastly, how would you describe Rwanda in one word, and why?
One word, that's not fair.
Okay, 3 words.
I'll do one word, it's fine.
Fine, yes.
I would say inspiring. Inspiring is the one word that comes to mind. And I say that because there is a commitment and actualization of growth and development. It's not just words, right? This country puts its money, its hands, its feet where its mouth is. And that's inspiring. It's inspiring to see what can happen when you have good leadership, and good leadership that knows how to bring alongside other good leaders with it, right? To really push a nation forward. So yeah, I'd have to go with inspiring.
Yes. Inspiring. That was Elizabeth Babalola, all the way from Nigeria. She's a dean in the African Leadership University here in Rwanda, but also has an experience to share with us from all the beginning when she was here, when the ALU was being established here in Rwanda. And she just said inspiring as a definition for the country of Rwanda. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be right back. Do stay with Rwanda Television. We'll be right back. My name is Enora Gladys.